But man, isn't it true how many of us fall into the same trap that Herod fell into, which is simply this: being more concerned that if we worship Jesus and allow Jesus into our life, that our plans, our ambitions, and our desires are going to get pushed to the side. You know, I'll tell you what, that's a healthy concern. Now, I've heard a lot of testimonies in my life. Maybe you probably have too, but I remember when I was a kid going to church camp and going to different Christian events or whatever and hearing people give their testimonies. And a lot of times their testimonies went something like this: my life was a mess, I was involved in drugs, I was having a bad time, I was a terrible person, or whatever the case might be. And then something happened and I heard about Jesus and I met Jesus. And after I met Jesus, everything changed and my life became awesome. And now I'm a Christian and life is good and Jesus completely fixed and transformed my life. You know, those are great testimonies. I love them. But you know, there's another kind of testimony that exists. And a lot of people can really understand this one too. It's a testimony that looks like this: I had my plans for how my life was supposed to be. I knew what I wanted out of this life, and I worked really hard to get there. And something happened, and I heard about this Jesus. I responded to that, and then, man, he messed everything up. You know, I think of some friends of mine who became missionaries after life was going well for them. I think of other people I know in my own life who encountered Christ and then they were called to sacrifice things. I mean, the lives of the saints are like this. The lives of the apostles are like this. People have their lives and they're going along and things are going fine. And then Jesus comes along and messes it up, right? Think about what happened when he came upon the disciples. And he said to them, drop your nets, follow me, and I'll make you fishers of men. Now, I don't know how successful those men were as fishermen, but I guarantee you this: following Jesus took all of their plans and just chucked it right out the window. And then their lives would never be the same. You know, I want you to think about your own life for a second and ask yourself the question: what do I do with the fact that if I truly embrace Jesus Christ into my life as my Lord, as my King, the potential exists that he's going to mess everything up? Now, when I say mess everything up, I don't mean for any amount of time to imply that bad things are going to happen. What I mean to imply is that your plans are going to go away and his plans are going to come to fruition. Now, what that looks like to the world might be complete chaos. You know, what that looks like to the world might look like complete insanity, because you can be a person who has it all according to the world's way, and then you come to Jesus and he calls you to sacrifice it and take up your cross and follow him. That's a reality for any of us really who want to follow Jesus. And now, like I said, it's easy to look at King Herod and go, oh man, what a jerk, what a horrible person. And you know what? You and I don't have the ability or the power to take such drastic measures as Herod did to prevent Jesus. But we each have our own ideas and our own ability to say to this King Jesus who's coming to us, get away from me. I don't want anything to do with you. Now, we might act like, oh yeah, great, Jesus. But really, if we get down to it, there's a lot of things at stake if we truly embrace him and follow him. And as our Blessed Mother decreed, I am the servant of the Lord. If we truly go along with what he wants us to do and we embrace his lordship and his kingship in our lives and we become his servants, then we have to be real about the cost. You know, that's part of following Christ. Jesus hasn't come to take your life and make it all nice and neat and pretty and fix all your problems. Depending on who you are, following Jesus might lead to other problems. So what are you going to do with that? Are you the king of your own life? Or is Jesus going to be your king? So you can't have it both ways. Herod is just a picture of that, isn't he? He's a picture of a king who wouldn't give up his kingship or his kingdom. And you know what? Each and every one of us, in some way, is also a king. We're the king of our heart. We're the king of our own free will. And Jesus comes to us and he says, I can be your king. But in order for me to be your king, you've got to get off the throne. Take off your crown. Let go of your authority. Let go of your pride. And let me have that place in your life.